was like 27 degrees this morning, huh?
I'm not really good at checking weather in the morning or forecast or anything. I just go through cycles where really the only consideration I ever make is coat or no coat.
But how do you figure that out? Do you step outside?
No, it's weird. I decide that at some point through experience that it's getting warm enough, like 40 degrees, where I don't need a coat anymore.
Right.
And until the fall comes the next year, I'm not wearing a coat. It was actually kind of weird last week. I just had a feeling that I should put a coat on because it was snowing outside, because I could see it. And I put a coat on, and then I was really upset that I did, because in the afternoon, I didn't want to wear that stupid coat. I don't get cold easily in the first place, and I can pretty much go outside. I can stay outside for 3 minutes in nothing but shorts in the middle of negative 10 degree temperature.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a punishment.
Yeah, it is. It's
actually, you know what? I realized. So I used to make fun of people that did that. Like, you'd see people walking in like a down jacket, but shorts and maybe flip flops.
Yeah,
and it's cold outside, right? And I was like, idiots. Well, what are you doing? But then when I have to walk the dog sometimes and I'm wearing shorts just because I'm inside, right? I'll put on the jacket. It's not that bad. Apparently, the legs, they just don't care.
I don't know if it's...
The legs are so inconsequential.
They just don't care.
My upper body needs more warmth than my legs.
Right.
They do. And I don't know if that's just a universal truth to where, you got a lot more vital organs up top with the clothing that you cover and
Depends
stuff
on what you
like
consider
that.
vital. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking of
the basics: the heart, the
Essentials.
lungs, the liver,
the pancreas,
pancreatic
Liver.
portions.
Yeah.
Gotta have a good liver.
You should.
Well, you're Russian, so
I pretty much don't have a liver.
well, you're born
There's
with a
just a
really
barrel.
tough liver because
Yeah. And onions.
and onions in
My
there.
liver is just surrounded by onions.
But I wonder also if, because I was a runner when I was in middle school, high school, and into college before my knees required surgery. And I wonder if all of those years running outside with basically
Tighty whities.
Yeah, bun huggers on. If that made me think, if that conditioned me in some way. Because when you're running, you're moving your legs so much that they're going to be warm. The only thing that's going to be kind of weird is, if you're out there for a prolonged period of time and your muscles kind of freeze up or you don't stretch correctly or whatever.
I'm going to debunk that and say that no, because I'm a fat kid and I never ran.
You're a fat adult, too.
I was a fatter kid, but thank you. Listen, there's a reason that my nickname used to be Donut. And I never ate donuts.
Ironically.
Yeah, so no, I don't know what it is, but I just think that... But you know how the whole thing that you're always told when you're a kid that, you got to put a hat on because
you'll catch a cold if you're...
It's not true.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. There's not much more heat is given off by your head than it is by any other part of your body, I think.
Well, a cold is a virus, right? So,
is it the cold virus or the flu virus?
Flu is definitely a virus. Cold is a type of virus,
right? I
right?
find more because, that's interesting coming from you, who has less natural head covering than I do.
Do you mean hair?
Yeah, hair.
That's a nice way of saying.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't think it was a nicer way. I was confused by it.
Natural he was insulting your intelligence.
But it's also within the context.
My epidermis is showing, is what he's trying to say.
It's within the context of covering your head, right?
Yeah.
So
that's why I got the Bozo thing going on the sides.
I wear a hat in winter because if my ears get cold, they really hurt. Like fingertips and ears, especially when they're exposed, those are the first things that I'll get the really red ears, and then I'll come in and you've got that tingle sensation as you're getting feeling back to them because it's the initial stages of frostbite essentially, right? What it is, right? So I wear a hat to cover my ears, not necessarily to cover the entirety of my head. But I'm not going to wear a headband because, geez, who's going to wear a headband?
You should,
Who's
man.
going to wear
Like Andre Agassi.
I think you would look really good in a headband. I would love to do earmuffs, but I cannot pull them off.
The only people that can pull...
Why can't you do earmuffs?
I look like an idiot.
I think everyone who wears earmuffs looks like an idiot.
Okay, girls, I think look good with earmuffs.
Yeah, because it's a cute thing.
Right.
Earmuffs are a cute thing.
See, the problem with me is it's like a double
thing, right?
For me, it's like a double negative. Like, I'm already cute. So, adding more cuteness just negates
It's
the
overkill.
Yeah, that's just too much.
Too much.
Like, I'll be distracting to drivers on the road.
That's true.
So, what are we talking about, Jeff?
I was trying to talk it through with Brandon. I don't think that there's a real clear path. But I can throw it out there if you want me to.
It's okay. I mean, I'm always jealous of you guys talking and me not being involved, so...
You were at the restaurant getting the wrong food.
I got the right food.
That's true.
The person who's the first time it is at that restaurant got the wrong food, so...
Always the
You
case.
gotta build rapport.
True.
That's what it is. You gotta walk in and they're like, fatty!
You've got to build rapport.
And I don't mean
with,
to me, like, they didn't call me a fatty. That's just what the thing that I got is
Yeah,
called.
like, oh, you want a fatty. Yeah, you got to build rapport with the college students who are only there like 2 weeks
man, this
at a
guy
time.
was like in his 50s.
Was he?
Yeah, this is like the oldest dude I've ever seen working the cash register. Which is probably why he couldn't do it.
Well, we've all got our limits.
Not his forte.
Not his forte.
So I went to... You guys know I went to the hockey game last night. I went to the Wings Lightning playoff game down in
Some sort
Detroit.
of commotion about it, yeah.
No, so I went down there, and as I was driving down there, I just had a feeling of... I've been getting these headaches lately, and I've been trying to do a lot of mind games with myself to get me to stop thinking so deeply about everything. And I don't know if that's the cause of the headaches. It could... I also hydrate like crap, so that could be a major cause. I usually like to try to default to physical, logical reasons why my body is failing me, not necessarily think that it's all psychological, but there is something to the extent of you can tire your brain out.
There's a lot of
in various
ways,
right?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. See, because I kind of had the same thing. So during the winter times, like I had really bad knee pain on my left knee. And I think when it got warmer, it just went away. Because I went to the doc and they're like, whatever, man, we don't know what's wrong with you. But it's like, I feel it, right? This week, it got cold again, came back. So, like, is that psychological? Like, there's got to be like a change in the aura of the world that affects my knee pain.
Well, I think there's a correlation between the barometric pressure and like the.
What are you, a scientist?
No, I've heard a lot of old people say this. Yeah,
I'm not. You're older than I am.
No,
Do you not have knee pain?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good. That makes me feel better.
I think there's a correlation between weather and aches and pains.
Yeah. So I think I got to move. Is really what my body's trying to tell me to like a warmer climate.
But didn't you come from Eastern Europe where it's like...
No, it's like the same thing as here.
Yeah.
It's actually colder over there. That's probably what effed me up.
But this is what you're built for, really.
Apparently not built that well.
Roman's the only one we talk about of having like genetic immunities to certain things.
Well,
like,
it's true. It's scientifically proven. It's actually scientifically
the
proven.
Ukrainians?
No, European people have a mutation in their genes that makes them less likely to get... I don't know if it's HIV or AIDS. I don't know if it's the initial or the continuation, but it makes it hard for the cells to attach.
Yeah.
The mutation causes us not to have those attachment points. So, we're pretty much awesome.
And you also have a genetic predestination for techno music.
Yeah, well,
not
everyone's perfect.
That goes with the AIDS thing, I guess.
It is.
Okay, so you're saying that you're trying not to think so intensely about things and sort of just go with the flow and enjoy things in the moment and not overthink things.
I think you got to play more games on your phone.
Probably.
No, seriously, like mindless games, like
Candy Crush.
Candy Crush, man.
I think that I take my life way too seriously, and I overthink absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And it can drive you nuts.
Well,
And it's when I was younger, I just like poured my thoughts out to everyone. That like I notice like the most minute things about people, and then I like project what their life is going to be like, and all this weird stuff.
That's a weird thing to do at a party. Like,
hold on, tell me. Do me, come on. Can we not mention my hair loss? Because I will say that is from overthinking things too much and having, what is that thing they call? Stress. Yeah. Stress made my hair go away.
Really?
Yeah. It's messed up. The stress was...
You don't have a family history of hair loss?
No.
You're the only one in your family who is
to this degree, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, maybe it's stress.
All right, so what do you got to tell me about me?
When I first met you, I thought that...
What a joker.
You were arrogant and that you needed to be right about everything, and that in general you were kind of an ass about stuff. And then I immediately shifted to not just accepting that you were like that, but wanting to know why it was that way. And a lot of it was because, well, you know a lot of stuff, and you thought it to be helpful to share it as much as possible. And so then I got into thinking, okay, is him telling everyone what to do and how to do it, is that an extension of him trying to show and prove his awesomeness, like pushing people around and that, you know, I'm really smart, I'm smarter than you, and kind of exert dominance like that? Or is it more of you're genuinely trying to help people? And then the whole needing to go in packs with people everywhere thing made me think more of like the helpful thing. Like you've got this personal thing going on, but it's like you don't want to lead with that. You don't want to lead with like that you're needy and need to have like companionship 100% of the time. You've got this like you still got like this manly like thing that you carry with yourself, because like society tells you that you can't be like, oh my God, I want all my friends to be in one place at one time at all times, right? Like you can't do that. You've got to have a sense of detachment from people. You got to be able to do your own thing. So you got this interesting thing going on where it's like you got this lone wolf mentality, because in a lot of senses you think things differently than other people, and you've got a considerable amount of knowledge in very specific areas. Like you're an expert in really specific areas, but then you've also got like this like wanting to just learn new skills thing, and like with the vinyl decal stuff, I feel like you talk about it as a new venture, something you're trying out, but you want to know everything about it so you can be an expert in that space. You don't dabble in stuff just to dabble and just have a generally good time and take in experiences.
You don't do anything half-assed.
Right.
That you know of.
Well, you don't appear to.
And there's other people...
Like, really, really intense thought.
I think your observations are pretty good. And actually, it's interesting hearing somebody else say, you know, kind of analyze you like that. Because at least for me, it wasn't always... Like, I wasn't always the way that you just described me. There are certain events in my life. My wife was not one of those events, actually, but in my life prior to my wife, that kind of made me into that kind of person. Like, instead of being just, because I used to be like the fat nice kid, you know, you ask this guy to do something, he'll do it or whatever, and things like that. And then eventually, I just came to a realization after a bunch of things got set in motion. I was like, man, if everybody wants a-holes, I'm just going to be an a-hole to everybody. Because it doesn't get me anywhere. And then if we move past that, then I can have a relationship with you, you know, friendship or whatever. Then you'll get to know the real person, right? But I don't need to come off with like, oh my God, hi, I just met you. What can I help you with? Blah, blah. No, I'll be like, I don't care. I don't know what your name is. I don't care who you are. So it's kind of like I've molded myself into that. And if you can't handle it, then you can't handle it. So.
And you see, people analyzing people is an easy example because it's tangible for us. We understand that people are different, and they're easy to do that to because people are complex. Like, what one person is one day is not necessarily who they are the other day. There's so many variables that go into who a person is, and so it's to a certain extent, it's fun trying to analyze that stuff and just kind of talk about it out in the open because all of these things are there. They're just below the surface, but we never talk about them, right? Because it's not an essential. This is intel for your ability to communicate and interact with a person. It's not so that you can tell them, like, unless you're like younger me when I was a teenager, just being really weird, wanting to tell everyone your observations about them. You know what I mean? But I do that with work where I'm thinking about it all the time. I can't shut my brain off. If I got something in front of me, it eats at me until I can sort it out. Well, driving to the game last night, I just decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to try to drink as much water as I can to try to help this headache. I'm sick of taking Tylenol. And before that, I was taking ibuprofen, and it was a compromise to take Tylenol because I'm feeling like, okay, I just don't want to be.
You get dependent on.
I don't want anything to have to be there my whole life. That's why being on blood pressure medicine drives me nuts. It's like, it's not a point of pride. I'll take that darn thing if I need it, and I see the results in, blood pressure ratings where it's helping. So I'm fine with that. But it's like, I don't want too much of that if I don't need it. Right? I'm not so ridiculous that I'm going to be like the old guy who refuses to take all of his pills. Right? But no, I was driving and I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a good time tonight. And I decided that no matter what, I'm going to have a good time tonight. I'm not going to overthink stuff. I love hockey. And those little areas of expertise you have where you dive in and you want to understand everything about it.
Right.
It's like much, I want to be that. But my side of my personality is like, I just want that for me. I don't necessarily need to share it with anyone else. It comes out when people ask me.
Right.
And it comes out just because that's where my interests are, and you're never going to hide all that. But like, I'm kind of embarrassed by how nerdy I get about that, or how nerdy I get about thinking about, stuff with work and sorting out that stuff. 'Cause strongly passionate about it and just don't, and in general, I think it to other people, it's boring, the kind of, level of detail that I like to think about stuff. But I said, it's an event. I'm with my wife. We got good seats. There's going to be a lot of positive energy. I'm not going to get upset about the guy behind me who's drunk and, badgering all the different players. Just because I don't want to do that. My mentality when I go to hockey games is very much how I am sitting on the couch watching it. I like to sit there, quietly watch it, and over the course of my life, I've become less of a fanatic, like rah-rah kind of guy, and more of a appreciating the game and analyzing it. And when I see interesting things that I haven't seen before, or especially when the game is executed at a level of excellence that excites me.
It's a lot more intense. It's a lot more higher stakes.
I just genuinely enjoy watching it and taking it all in. In the past, I would go to those games and hear the woman a couple of rows over saying, let's go Red Wings, the whole game out of sync with all the rest of the cheers and stuff like that. And she's just on her feet the entire game. And I would like look down there and be like, really? You're going to behave like this? But yesterday, I smiled at it because I could recognize that, like, so what? She was more concerned with drinking and yelling than she was about what was actually going on in the game. And her level of understanding of the game isn't what mine is, but she's still entitled to enjoy the game in close proximity to it, to me. And I don't need to remove myself and not go to games just because I need to, I need to control the space around me.
Yeah.
Right?
See, and you took a step in the right direction because I have the problem that you're describing, man. I feel a lot that I have to be in control. Actually, I feel that people around me should be on the same level as I am for certain things. So like if you were going to the hockey game and this woman was there, you're like, you should think, man, I'm here. I didn't get drunk. I'm here to support my team. How can she be like the way that she is? So I have the problem with people around me, especially like neighbors and stuff, where I'm like, it's 8:00 at night. How come these people are playing their music so loud? Like, don't they have common sense? Like, I try to project what my idea of common sense is onto everybody, and that gets me like upset. And I get headaches the same way. It's just that, I've not taken this out. I've tried it actually. Becoming a father really pushes the limits on that. Mm-hmm. How can this baby be up? You know, why is this baby crying? Doesn't it understand that crying sucks? Mm-hmm. So it's like this, but it's to say like that really pushed me to, and it was hard, man, at first, but it pushed you to like just kind of let it go. It's not everyone's going to be on your level of things, and you can't expect everybody to be the same way, but from the kind of person I am, that's a hard thing to do. And it causes stress, and it makes me like upset and angry, like physically angry at things. So yeah, this has turned into like a therapy session. Which is kind of cool because Brandon apparently doesn't have any issues.
I was wondering why both of you guys are laying down on the couch.
On the same couch.
On the same couch, yeah. Head to toe.
Well, see, you don't have any problems. So you're in movies. Mm-hmm. You've met Ben Affleck like twice.
Once. Well, twice, 2 days, yeah.
See. So, and that was probably like your bucket list item that you had to do.
You know, honestly, when I first started like doing acting and stuff like that, was when Good Will Hunting came out. And so that was sort of like my ultimate goal was like, I want to be in a movie with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Or at least just Matt Damon.
Well, either one, yeah.
More Matt Damon, though.
I wouldn't say that, because then Armageddon came out and I was like, Ben Affleck. But
I don't know. What's that one that Matt Damon's in now? Bourne Identity thing, or the Bourne trilogy?
I've only seen the first one.
See, this is why you don't know the power of Damon.
I understand.
That series is good.
Appreciate it.
I love it.
Yeah. But I'm not the one to talk about whether a movie's good or not.
Sure. Paul Blart 2. You already got your tickets.
You've probably seen it already. What are you talking about?
I have not seen the first one. But, you know, like, I had always thought, like, that would be the ultimate, was, like, being in a movie with Ben Affleck, and then, like, standing next to him and, you know, in a scene with him.
Standing next to Affleck, that's life
And I was like, hey, you know what? I've accomplished that, and, you know, it's not a big deal or anything, because I didn't have any lines. I wasn't acting with him, but I was in a scene with him, and I was like, you know what? If I never do anything again, in terms of like a big Hollywood film, I'll feel pretty good about that, because I was in a big movie, you know, big budget, huge blockbuster movie.
I want to have this conversation after the movie comes out.
Yeah.
And we want to see if
I made
the scene was in there. Because if I'm in a movie theater and I see you, I will like stand up and yell.
Will you shout?
Yeah. Actually, can I get shirts with your face on? I want to get shirts with your face on it.
You can make them. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm sure they're around already.
A shirt with my face? There's one shirt with my face on it. We made it for my grandma back in the 80s. And it was like when they had these like little
So it looks about the same as you do now.
It's very pixelated.
Speaking of that, I mean, this is a tangent, but you were saying, I know him! Like just screaming up and making a fool out of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do that very easily.
You can't make a fool of yourself easily?
Like when I think of, I overthink, like, in that moment. And I wonder, like, you guys have kids, and you have kids that could be, like, doing performances and stuff, where you could be in a similar situation where you would, like, get up and yell and just be a total dad about things, right?
Such a dad.
But it's, like, I talk myself out of doing so many things, because I think of the social ramifications of everything. Right. Because I think everything to death. Like I said before, it was like I'm so hypercritical of every situation and wanting to analyze like what the best possible thing to do would be, that I miss moments.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I have an exact example of this. Last night actually happened. So once in a while, we'll go get Burger King for dinner or whatever. They usually have like really good coupons, right? And a lot of times when I get to the coupons,
you're calling me a dad, and you're the one. We got really good coupons for Burger King.
That makes me frugal. It doesn't make me a dad. I did that before we had the baby.
Good.
I'm so anti-coupon that this would be another conversation we could have.
But this is leading to kind of what you were talking about. Actually, exactly what you were talking about. So sometimes I'll go, and the coupons will be expired. But I've done this enough times to know that the numbers on the coupons are exactly the same no matter what time they are, right? So they don't really care. But I'll go through the drive-thru because I don't want to deal with people and talk about like, oh, these are expired and be like, oh my God, I didn't know. Can we still get the thing?
Right.
So I go through the drive-thru and so far they've been taking the coupons even though they're expired. Now when you go to the drive-thru window in the Burger King that's close to my house, the one where they give you the food, there's a little like printout that they have that says, honk if you got good service at your drive-thru, right? And that's, as soon as I get to that and I read that sign out of the other plethora of signs that hang there, I start going through that thinking process of like, okay, well,
what's the criteria for honking?
I don't know if I had good service yet. I've only experienced half of it. The other person at the first window that took my money. That was fine, right? I haven't gotten my food yet.
I actually wasn't satified with that. They took money from me.
Well, so then I think I'm going to honk because they took my expired coupon. And didn't question me about it. Like, right. And I think me honking will make them feel better.
Right.
Right? But I do it sometimes and I don't do it other times.
Ooh.
And because I start overthinking it. Because I get to that thing and I was like, I should totally honk. They were pretty good. Really fast turnaround. I got like 12 cheeseburgers, exaggerating. And they turned it out
really good coupons.
Yeah.
I actually got 24.
Buy one, get 12 free. But, I think I just want to let them know that they did a good job, but not to a point where I could actually be like, thank you for the food and verbally tell them, you guys did a good job. Because I don't do that, right?
Yeah.
But the honking thing, that's a whole different, I'll honk, right? And I'll just get out of there. They won't even know who it was. But if there's a car in front of me, I will not honk.
Right.
Because
they think
because I feel if I was in the car in front of them and then somebody honked in the back, I'd be like, well, WTF? Like, what are you honking? Like,
so when you're by yourself in the drive-thru, does the thought ever cross your mind that the workers inside might not be with the whole honk for good service appreciation thing?
I look at it both ways.
And they think you're just insane honking?
Yeah, I look at it both ways. A, that sign looks like it's been there forever. I don't wait long enough after I honk to see what kind of reaction's going on. And, like, it's not like the bell in Arby's or something. Or
that's clearly there for that.
And that's scary too. Like, I'm not the idiot between 25 people that does it, but then somebody comes around that does it when I'm in line. I'm like, I should have done that. But now I'm going to look like a poser.
Now you're going to look
It's the same thing when you go to like Mongolian barbecue and you give them the tip when they start doing like crazy stuff and then someone else does it and they're like, someone already did it.
we just
did the bit. We're not going to do it again, right?
Right.
So it's the same thing. I'm very perplexed depending on the situation. I start overthinking it. And I have like that 1 minute of thought between giving away my money, driving to the next window, seeing the sign going, which one am I going to do today?
Right.
And then realizing, well, there's a car in front of me and they kind of took forever to order because there's like a mom in a excursion with like 25 soccer kids in there or something. And if I honk, I feel like I'll be honking because I'm pissed off that she took so long to order.
I think about that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a programming, right? If this, then this, if that, I go through that order of operations all the time. Sometimes I even plan out in my head what I'm going to say when I get to the point where I have to say something.
Yep.
And sometimes I do that all the time.
All the time. That's why I don't do the expired coupon face-to-face thing.
That's why I talk myself.
I don't even want to build that script up.
You don't want to have to
seem like
improv there. You don't have to ask.
Well, it's not even going to be improv.
I'm a lot better. I'm a lot better with either face-to-face interactions where body language and stuff can carry me through, and I can read people better in that situation and know how to appropriately respond and stuff. I'm good in online interactions because text is a much more exact kind of
well, you can control exactly.
Well, now with emojis now.
But phone conversations are really difficult for me, and I get a lot of anxiety going into them because you can't read body language, you can't read the person as well. It's strictly audio or vocal, and vocal communication can sometimes be vague and misinterpreted, especially if there's a language barrier or anything like that. Like, I am so panicked to order Chinese food on the phone because I think they're going to screw up. I know, I presume.
So it's not because you think you're going to screw up pronouncing something, it's because you think they're going to screw up
they're going to
hearing what you
they're
say.
gonna,
that there's going to be something lost in translation.
There's going to be something lost in translation.
Good name drop on a movie.
And I do not want to correct people.
Yeah.
I will just say, okay, whatever, fine. I will take my food that is not what I ordered, and
rather than having a confrontation about it.
Yeah, I don't want to have the confrontation about fixing it.
Yeah.
I
don't necessarily think it's you. I think that's just the way that we're programmed since we're kids, at least in this country. Because if you go to other countries, specifically Asian countries, because I've been there mostly, that's a part of the thing, man. They like if you don't just sit and like wait for a waitress, and you know how sometimes you're in a restaurant and you're like, man, it's been like 25 minutes since they came by.
And what are we gonna do?
Yeah, and you just sit there, right? You're like, well,
we're at their mercy.
They're obviously busy with someone else, right? No, in like a Chinese, Taiwanese, Japanese restaurant, they're like, you will yell out, you're like, hey, waiter, and that's a thing you do,
and it's a courtesy, right? Like, oh yeah, someone's here. Thanks for letting me know you're here.
Right, and then you're not panicked about like being here for 25
Julie
minutes.
must have been born in an Asian country then, because Julie is just this
well,
proactive.
That's redheads overall.
She's just so good with that kind of stuff.
Does that make you feel uneasy though? Like if she does that kind of thing, it makes me feel really uneasy. If I'm in a restaurant, my wife starts doing that kind of thing, I'm like, let's not do that. Like,
Julie, but see here, Julie was a waitress for most of her life, right? And it has a lot less to do with that and more about her personality. But I mean, she will never act in a way that's like looking down on those people.
But still advocating for what she's entitled to.
Right. And so when someone's doing something wrong, when she crosses that line and gets in her mind that this person is acting out of line, then that's when the ginger snap happens.
The ginger snap.
Yeah.
On the team with Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. Oh, she could be a superhero, no problem. But it's just interesting. I envy her. It's almost humility in those situations because you think that she's being a dominant personality, but it's really she's rolling with the punches and really trying to understand what that person's thinking and doing, and trying to come alongside and say, "Oh no, when I said medium spicy, I really meant I just want a mediumly spicy thing. I don't want medium and spicy." Orders of I don't want two orders. When I said medium spicy, I understand that I probably was a little vague with that, right? Where me, I'm like, oh well, I'm stuck with spicy food now,
right?
Right?
Yeah, I almost never said anything. I would that is just weird to me. Send things back.
Unless, it's going to get spit on.
Well, see, that's the phobia, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like
I've worked in restaurants where that's happened.
Oh, I've worked in stores
but
where
she does
I had
it in a way
bagels fall
where
on the floor and I still sold them.
She doesn't say, can't you get anything right? She's like, you know what? I think we had a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean. She's very good at approaching situations like that. The one thing that I will say that's awkward about this whole thing of me being scared is when I do get great service, I turn into an over the top I want to tell that person how much I appreciate them.
Me too.
And Julie says it gets a little weird, like how much I say, like how much I joke and how much, because I go from being reclusive and I just go over the top because I'm so over the moon of how much weight this person's lifted off my shoulders because they're such a competent person and are really transcending the lines of like this relationship where I can hang out with you.
Right. Well, it's better to be overly kind than not kind enough, right?
Yeah, but it could get creepy.
It could get creepy.
Depends on the person. I think it really depends on who you're talking. If you go to a restaurant, like the same restaurant you're going to a couple times a month, you can start building that kind of relationship with the wait staff, right? If you've never been in a place and I'm the waiter, I'll be nice to you, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want you to be creepy nice guy to me.
Well, you can do it without being creepy.
But I even think like if you take it a step further and you're like if you're really overly nice for that one interaction, then it's just like it's whatever. If you come back and you start requesting that person to be your waiter or waitress, then it's like stalker vibes.
That's
right?
Yeah, I wouldn't care for that.
Although I do find myself being a lot more, I think, outgoing in restaurants when I travel. because I know I'm not going to come back there. And it's almost like a different personality that takes over. Like, I would never do this in the restaurant.
You don't have to worry about bumping into them at the grocery store or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have a conversation with people. We'll talk about, like, the eggs that I got or something, or whatever. Just kind of talk, where if I go to, like, a Denny's, I'm like, I just want my food.
Yeah.
I really, like, I've been here enough. I just want my food.
I'd like to eat and go home.
Yeah.
And watch Netflix.
Daredevil.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I watched the first 2. I like it.
I'm 1.5 in.
1.5?
1.5.
Going to get my hair cut, Julie was like, if you get a stylist that's really good, then you can request her the next time.
My mom does the same thing.
And Jude's shows you who's working that day.
Right.
So you can, call ahead and see what they have, later in the day. You don't need to call ahead too far in advance, but you can get the same stylist over and over. Because I do have this thing of, like I do everything, that the person's going to mess it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going into it every time. And when I leave, it's like, whatever. I got dude hair. Like, it's going to be fine. If they cut it wrong, it'll grow out.
This is the one thing I'm taking away from this podcast is that Jeff has dude hair.
I like Jeff's dude hair.
Dude hair.
Alrighty then.
All right.
Good lunch.
Okay. Have a good weekend.